Story number 1. I figured out my significant other was cheating on me in the dumbest way possible. Me 47 millions and my ex-wife 45 Fahrenheits have been together for 16 years, married for 10 years. We have 2 kids, 5 and 10. This is a long story, so I will sum it up. My ex-wife has been cheating on me for 2 years. The affair partner was 51, a friend of mine. She had only, supposedly, met at a work celebration. She didn't pay much attention to him at the work event, since she was pregnant with our youngest at the time. She has been distant for the past year. The first year she was cheating, she told me she got a promotion and needs to go to work on a certain time since she was in the higher-ups of the company. Okay, enough of that now. For the actual time I figured out that she was cheating. It was around winter. Where I lived, it was aftermaths of a small blizzard. They were doing some kind of role-play intimacy. The theme was some sort of Japanese anime high school. She was dressed up in a school uniform she bought for a convention a couple years back. The guy was dressed in a suit. I don't even know if that is a thing for school uniforms. I was in a field with my kids who were tobogganing on a hill. I came back to our house, which was a block away, and we were all bundled up. I saw the affair partner. He kissed my now ex-wife. She went back inside. The man started slipping on ice since the shoes he was wearing had barely any grip for a whole 27 seconds. I didn't count, I don't know. This guy was trying to keep his balance yet failed and fell face first onto the snowy driveway pavement, while the kids thought it was nothing and laughed their butts off. I figured out that my wife was cheating on me. The kids didn't realize that she kissed the guy. The man had his suit all covered in snow and he was bleeding out of his nose. I confronted my wife and told her we were over. I also called that best friend and told him that we are not friends anymore. Also, my wife quit her job to be with him more. We also signed a prenup. My lawyer says she will be destined for the streets. Story number 2. Found out about the other guy. I caught my wife talking to another guy. She was bad at hiding it, even though she hid it for weeks. I finally got her to admit it, and now she wants to divorce me to be with him. She supposedly fell in love with him after only a few weeks of talking and FaceTiming while I was away at work, or when I was sleeping next to her. She told me she would stop talking to him until she divorced me so that she could continue to be faithful. I love her so much and I want to save my marriage, but I have no idea how to win her back. I've been buying her flowers, candy, chocolate, jewelry, taking her on trips, expressing my love in writing, and anything else I can think of. I even used up tons of PTA at work just to be with her. Almost lost my job for being away so much and being so distracted. It's so hard to focus on work. It also breaks my heart to think of our babies growing up in a split household. I know my marriage is most likely going to end, but I still want to try my hardest to save it, even though she tells me she doesn't want it anymore. She let me read her texts with this guy, hoping it would make me want to leave her. But I couldn't even read all of them. It hurt too bad and reminded me of the way she used to talk to me. If I can't save my marriage, I feel like I want revenge on the guy who is preying on married women. I have all of his info, but I haven't done anything. I have no idea what to do. I feel so lost and broken. If it wasn't for my kids, I wouldn't be here anymore. Help. Story number 3. I want to reconcile. Been married 8 years. 2 young girls together. Wife cheated and continues to periodically sleep with the AP. Seems like a MLC to me. She says she still loves me but doesn't know what she wants. Can't be intimate with me. She says she never stopped loving me but doesn't say I love you back most of the times I say it. She also avoids pecking on the lips but will allow me, and seems to enjoy me kissing her cheeks, neck, and arms. She has warmed up in the last 3 weeks. We still live together because she refused to leave even though I made attempts. I don't want her to leave, but out of self-respect I tried to. It's hard to have the woman I love beside me every day, so I gravitate to her and find myself wanting physical contact like cuddling. I can forgive her for what has happened if she wants to work on things, but she seems to not want to let go of the freedom of our verbal separation that we instilled after the cheating was revealed. She says all the typical script stuff. She is trying to find herself, going back to who she was when she was young, owes it to herself to be selfish right now. She turned 40 this year, lost a ton of weight, and flew off the rails over the summer. Even distanced from our kids like she was even tired of being a mom. Said she just wanted to be free from it all. I of course suggested marriage counseling, but she turned it down. I think because she was sleeping with the AP at the time I suggested it, but I didn't know in that moment. I have been in personal counseling for months now. I've been working on myself and leveling up, working out, losing weight, ECT. I understand we are verbally separated, but I can't understand why she avoids the pecks on the lips or saying I love you when she looks at me and says I never stopped loving you. I guess you could say I get it, but I also don't get it. There have been a few slip pecks on the lips and I love yous, but for the most part she holds that back. Other than that, we do more as a family now, honestly, than we ever did before. I want to reconcile. Story number 4. I'm stuck. Okay. I reconnected with an old friend on Facebook who I grew up with last February. There's an hour-and-a-half drive between us. Everything was going great, as he was laid off for the winter, and I worked from home. He would surprise me with flowers and dinner to cook while I finished up my workday. He was always leaving his phone and forgetting about if. He was literally all about spending time with me. He started working again in mid-April, and we obviously didn't have the same amount of time together that we did early on. Things were difficult because he often worked 6 long days a week, and by the time his day off came, he was behind on all the other things we all need to take care of. I went on family medical leave at the end of May because of a genetic condition and the need to be closely monitored and eventually having surgery. I knew things were different because of his work hours, so I would go out of my way to drive every week for a couple days at a time and bring my dog, pay my neighbor to watch my cats, and essentially revolved my life around him. My adult daughter's birthday is at the end of September, and she was coming for the week. I told him that I would be occupied with her and would call him when I could. He wasn't happy with that and proceeded to call multiple times. One of those days I somehow got sucked into purchasing him a washer-dryer off Facebook Marketplace and needed access to his Facebook account and his email so we could collaborate all together. Anyway, I was in his email account on my phone and somehow ended up in his sent mailbox. I looked, and there was a message to a Kaylee something. Subject line Fuke, and the message was call me with his cell number. So here I am driving an hour-and-a-half back and forth for months, and there's this. Then the moron didn't delete his messenger messages with more random women. I eventually confronted him with all of this information I gathered, and he first blamed me for invading his privacy, but he was the person who gave me the information in the first place. We talked, and I decided to work through it. All the while, I felt like something was off before the discovery of his multiple chats and escort service searches. My daughter now doesn't like him or want to be around him at all. I have had to divide my time around the two of them and my regular life activities. Thanksgiving came, and although I was invited to his family's holiday dinner, my daughter was insistent on staying the weekend. I ended up lying and saying that she didn't get picked up or something. We had a major fight, and needless to say, November and December were rocky. Things seemed to have turned around Christmas, and we have been seeing a lot of each other as I started a new job where the corporate office is in his town and have been here for my training. Back when all the shit was hitting the fan, I set up a text now number and had forgotten about it. He has been weird about his phone again, and I decided to text him. So I sent him a message in the existing conversation saying I was sorry I lost touch, as if I were one of the women he talked to on Messenger, and would love to get together. It only took 2 messages to get a response. I said I was in a relationship and couldn't speak on the phone but really wanted to hang out. I said I lived in a town about 25 minutes away. I asked if he wanted to get together and he said yes, but that he was busy with work until Friday, today. So he proceeded to make dinner plans with me and to top it off paid for a hotel room for the night. He asked what I liked to drink so he'd have it at the hotel, and we confirmed that we were meeting at 3:30 this afternoon. Originally, I had planned to drive the hour-and-a-half home and take care of things there, leaving today after work, so he intentionally picked Friday night when I would be gone for the first time in weeks. I am so angry and hurt, I can't put it into words. I called the hotel he mentioned and asked if he made a reservation, and he did. Non-refundable, too. Oh, and I hadn't been at his apartment since October, but I have made coffee plenty of times when I was always here. I went to make a cup of coffee on the day after Christmas and pulled a mug out like I have done 100 times in the past, and it was jammed full of condo. He was at his friend's store helping out during the meetup conversation where I asked him what his friends would say are his best 3 qualities. To which he responded, caring, honest, and trustworthy. He was under the impression the women he was meeting was in a relationship and was saying that he didn't want to text anymore, so she also known as I didn't get caught. I was literally in the next room finalizing our plans. I was shaking by this point because I asked him if he was in a relationship, and he said no, but it ended on a good note. Finally, I was fuming and decided to mess with him. I came into the living room and said I talked to my daughter and she had to cancel our plans for the upcoming weekend so I would be able to stay here with him. He turned white and started saying things to try and make me believe that I needed to go home. So I kept asking him why he was kicking me out. And of course it was for my benefit, not his. Excuse after excuse, and I was like, I'm not driving there to do nothing. Since I knew why he wanted me gone on Friday, I finally told him that he may want to cancel the plans he made for Friday. The look on his face was priceless. I told him that he was talking to me the whole time. He said I tricked him, then that he was never going to show up, to a non-refundable room nonetheless, and I was all he needed. So since then, I've been as indifferent as I could be since I need to stay here for the next 2 weeks for training, but I honestly still care about him and feel like a stupid moron for not outing him to everyone. I know I need to leave, but it's so overwhelming with my health problems and new job. I just needed to vent this crazy story and take any and all advice. Story number 5. Do I lose my family or my sanity? So me, female, 35, mom of a 2-year-old and together with my husband 32 years for 6 years. It took us years to conceive our child via medical procedures, but she is my greatest joy. We are from Europe, so around Christmas I discovered my husband was cheating on me. Classic, you would think, but not at all. In the beginning I was broken and willing to forgive if he came clean and let me have access to his phone and location. Now a month has passed today, and absolutely each day has been a nightmare. I've discovered he had cheated so much and since the beginning of our relationship. With so much woman I stopped counting, but also with prostitutes and escorts. For all those years, I was doing majority of the household tasks, paying bills, groceries, and paying so many extras. He always claimed to be tired or in a bad mood, but I hold it down for us, even so I was even more tired and also had bad days. I've learned that the man I loved so much has been cheating continuously, gave our money away to sex workers, was not wearing condoms, filmed himself, and was putting those movies on porn sites presenting it as couple having fun. He also disappeared to go spend nights with those other women, leaving us without any news. As you may imagine, I've read and seen more than a soul can take. He has such a bad attitude about it, and doesn't want to make much efforts. We have our miracle baby and a house together. I tried to make him make sense, but he even refuses couples therapy. He did some efforts like paying more or giving his location a few times and posting a picture of us. Now one side of me wants to seek revenge, but I want to stay my good and clean self. Also, my heart is so broken when I look at my baby that I can't get myself to leave. I've taken all my information, and I will struggle immensely if I separate and lose a lot of money. Story number 6. XGF, 33 Fahrenheits, of 2 years. Broke up with 36 minutes after she caught me texting other women 2 months ago. How do I get her trust and a relationship back? I, 36 millions, got caught texting other women by my now XGF, 33 Fahrenheits, and she broke up with me 2 months ago. What can I do to rebuild trust and get her back? My XGF, 33 Fahrenheits, and I, 36 minutes, broke up 2 months ago because she found MSGs to other women. We were having trouble and I selfishly and immaturely started speaking to other women for validation, and because I was insecure about our relationship, I have done therapy and lots of looking in at myself for what I've done to her.